we're back. Last episode, episode 3. Hopefully I can do more of these, so we'll see. But now we're going to dive into it. The 26 years, almost to the day, the acquittal was recently. Let's talk about Charlie. Let's talk about June 12th. There's not enough time to go into the whole backstory about why he's there, how Joey Ippolito knew OJ, how he knew AC Cowlings, when did they meet, what year was that? It doesn't fucking matter. So it's not about that. Let's talk about June 12th. And OJ tells you in his book, it was 10:03 p.m. And the reason he says 10:03 p.m. is because that's right after he called Paula Barbieri, trying to track her down. She had dumped him in the morning. And so they use these, and OJ, let me just say this quickly about OJ too. OJ knows more about the case than you do. He knows more about the case than the attorneys on both sides put together, right? Because he did it, okay? He was there. And OJ is extremely bright, and he listened to the entire trial. He does a Ross Becker interview for 3 hours and takes you to Rockingham and takes you on a tour of the murders. Who does that? No one. No one's ever done that. A normal person, if they got acquitted of double murder 1, they would kind of go away, right? They would just kind of, okay, I'm a double murderer and let me make the best life I can. Everyone hates me in the whole world almost, okay, which has got to be a strange position. So, trying to get my train of thought here. So OJ takes us on a tour, and he knows everything about the evidence and Mazzola and how many cc's were missing of blood and when they found the blood on the socks. He is bright. He is brilliant. Okay, there'll never be another OJ Simpson ever again. Okay, the situation may never be like that, nor will a guy do what he did. And he's African American. Okay, when days were a little different in the 80s, okay, in 70s than they are today. So, June 12th, it's 10:03. OJ says 10:03 because that's in the records of that's when he called Paula Barbieri for the last time. And OJ in his book, in chapter 6 says, I was chipping golf balls in my front yard, waiting for the limo to come. I was thinking about my life, about my father, who I didn't talk to for many years. I said, I'm going to kick your ass. And his dad got mad at him, didn't talk to him for 10 years. And he's being dramatic, right? Because it's minutes before the murders are going to happen. His life's going to change. Hollywood's going to change. All these people that are asleep that night, they don't even realize that tomorrow when they wake up, they will become millionaires. They will become famous. Nancy Grace, Dan Abrams, Vinnie Politan, Geraldo Rivera, Larry King. Some of these guys are still going, but this launches them. This launches Court TV. This launches networks, okay? It launches journalists and books and publishers and authors. The tabloids, OJ always calls them the rags. I always love that. So it's 10:03, and he says he sees a car drive by the gate, and he doesn't know who it is. And he looks down the street and he sees a guy get out and the guy waves to him. It's a white guy. It's Charlie. That's weird. OJ's telling you. So Charlie shows up at the gate and he wasn't smiling. And I said, Charlie, what's the matter? What's up, man? Oh, everything's cool. Everything's good. He kind of hems and haws it. And it's in here too. And I probably will read it. I don't know how much I can even read out of this thing. Maybe the next episode I do, we start reading out of here. Because even in the back of my head, if I start reading some of this out of this script, it's just gonna shock you too much, and it may confuse you. Okay? So this could be episode 4. We'll see. But in the script, okay, he does talk about when he comes there. And this is right at about 10:05. I think it's a little later, but the way they do it, that's how they say it. And there's not many pages he talks about June 12th. There's only 4 pages. There's not much. He can't say much, right? Okay, and they've changed this a couple times too. I'm just trying to see if we can see right when they show up. Okay. And even this part, this is the part I was telling you about that I like, exterior affluent residential neighborhood night, right? Wide shot of a quiet street. The card comes up June 12th, 1994. A nondescript sedan drives up to the curb across the street from OJ's gated mansion and parks. Another card comes up an hour before the murders. That timing's off. It's not an hour, it's minutes. 30 minutes. Okay, this is going to happen quickly. Charlie exits the sedan and crosses the street and walks up to OJ's Rockingham gate. Okay, I'll leave this somewhat open there. So now back to the book. See, that's the script telling you how he's coming. The book now says, "Oh, Charlie, what's the matter? You're not smiling. What's up, man? Hey, OJ, look, Joey sent me. Oh, Joey, you guys missed a good one Saturday, man. Yeah, I know. I wish I could have been there. I just flew in today." Well, why did Charlie just fly in today? Well, because he's moving a bunch of cocaine from Miami to LA, and he's following the mules, but he's in the plane. They're driving him in the cars, and he's flying and landing there. And then when he shows up, he brings Joey the car keys and drops the loads. Okay, he hands them off. He works for Joey Ippolito. Okay, Joey's running the whole thing because Joey's a made guy, high-ranking, De Cavalcante, the real Sopranos. They have Genovese ties. Okay, they're all connected too, man. Don't get caught up in the families. The Bonanos, Joey got caught with a Bonano guy, Ronald Lorenzo, and you can look that up in '93 in L.A. So Charlie says to OJ, basically, okay, and there's different ways they say it in the book and the script, I got a problem, okay? Now, in the book, OJ's going to say they're talking about Nicole's promiscuity. They're not. It's a coke debt, okay? It's a drug debt. And it's not so much a debt as it is an extortion because that's what Joey Ippolito does. Remember I told you the story, what he did to my friend, right? And had his wife almost get killed, okay? Because he sets you up. It's a setup. That's what the mob does. That's their thing. Extortion, prostitution, gambling, contraband, drugs, okay? Weapons, whatever. It all goes together, right? We got to get paid, OJ. Tonight. We got to get paid right now. Paid? What? I thought everything's good with Joey. We're good. We're making money. I'm lining up deals. I introduce you to the famous actors and actresses who all have a major coke problem. All of Hollywood, right? You need some heroin. You need some coke. You need some weed. Weed's illegal back then. That was a hot commodity, weed. In 1994, huge market. Look up Ben Kramer. Look how many pounds of weed he moved. Okay? From Colombia. That's where it's coming from. We got to get paid, OJ. OJ freaks out, right? What the fuck are you talking about? Paid what? I make you guys fucking money. We got to get paid because of Nicole and Faye Resnick and Keith Z and then OJ interrupts him. Whoa. What? I'm not paying their shit. And I guarantee you Faye Resnick has something to do with that shit, not Nicole, right? He almost sticks up for Nicole for like a second, okay? Well, no, it's Keith, and now Keith Zamlanovich, whatever his name is, he's the one who hooked up with Nicole, and OJ saw her, right? Saw them together. So when Charlie says the name Nicole, explosion, Faye Resnick, nuclear assault, and Keith Z, laser beam to the skull, okay? He's fucked up. He's beyond pissed. In this, he says he's fuming, okay? Right there. Right here, he says it. He's fucking fuming. It's a little complicated, OJ, but in your case, Nicole and Faye, okay? He's trying to tell OJ, Joey's not happy. You guys owe money. He's fronting you guys a lot of fucking cocaine, right? You're partying with it. Yeah, they get the late call. Maybe he fronts you $5,000 worth of coke here and there. Okay, well, it adds up, and it's now like 80 grand. Okay, and in 1994, that's a lot of money. Okay, $80,000. No one wants to when you get your power bill, do you want to see it say 80 grand? It doesn't. It says $90. Okay. And OJ asks him, and OJ says, we're cool, right? And Charlie says, yeah, me, you, and Joey, we're all cool, but it's got to stay cool. It's got to stay that way, OJ. Okay. Now, the mob has him positioned because he's a celebrity. He can't go to anyone. He can't go to the police and say, hey, they're extorting me for fucking. No, OJ's already dirty. He's got a big past of being dirty too with coke and Butch Sukarski, Butch Casey, the murders in Miami. Look it up. He gets murdered 2 weeks after OJ's case, and they're best friends in Buffalo, and he's got mob ties, and 2 Colombians murder him, and 2 other women are there, and it's a mess. Okay, but there's answers. They're there. Okay, so we got to get paid tonight, OJ. OJ starts freaking out. He takes the club. He's going to smash it through the Bentley. The Bentley's parked right there. Charlie talks about this. OJ finds this moment of clarity. Okay, and Charlie talks about this. No, man, it's just a friendly heads up. Well, I don't think me going to Nicole's. Get in the Bronco. OJ calms down and he thinks to himself. Now he's enraged, okay? He hates Nicole. He hates Faye. He fucking hates Keith. He hates Mezzaluna. He hates all of her friends. There's all this stuff. Maybe, like I said, if we do another episode, we'll talk about the details of the prostitution and the drugs. And Nicole was doing some fucked up shit. I'm just going to say it straight up, okay? And I met her sisters. I know them. I've talked to them a bunch of times. They're great gals. This is what I mean by the perfect storm, okay? And I'm on an island doing this. And so OJ says, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. And OJ's smart. He's an alpha male, apex predator, right? NFL superstar, stronger and faster than anyone on the planet. So he's rare. We're going to get in the Bronco and we're going to go put it on Nicole right now. And Faye's there too. Faye's staying with her. She's not in rehab. She's at Nicole's. Well, she is in rehab. They don't know that, right? Well, OJ, whoa, I don't want to go. OJ, that's not going to help me going with you. And they make Charlie seem like the victim in here. And so you have to, I can go more into the real story too another time. But so we get in the Bronco and we go over. That's what OJ says. And they go to Nicole's, okay? And they park in the alley. And they drive out front first, and they look at the place, and they come around to the back alley. And OJ enters through the back gate. And Charlie supposedly is holding OJ's knife. That's what OJ says in the book, too. Charlie took it, okay? But I believe he took it in the book. See, OJ's trying to confuse you. And the reason they say Charlie brought the knife is because Charlie has his own knife. And so OJ's trying to tell you there's 2 knives, okay? Charlie brought the knife. I grabbed the knife from Charlie. No, OJ, you didn't grab the knife from anybody. You had your own knife, a Swiss Army knife that Mark Furman pointed out that there was an empty box. And Swiss Army actually makes knives that are long and thin and extremely sharp. They're called Victorinox. That's who makes their knives. And OJ was sponsored by Swiss Army. He had a Swiss Army golf bag. And Mark Furman, that's why I bought his book. As much as I know he probably planted the glove and did a lot of other crazy shit, I knew he would spit something out to me, and he did. There was an empty Swiss Army box in the bathroom, no knife in it. No one could ever find that knife. They never introduced it into evidence. Why? Because it's a fraud. It's a setup. Okay? That's the knife. And OJ comments to a limo driver 2 weeks before in Connecticut. He was there on a business trip. Well, look at this knife, man. You could kill somebody with this. And the limo guy's, yeah, I guess so. They go to Nicole's. They park in the back. OJ pushes through the gate. He doesn't need to buzz it. I told her to fix that thing. If you just gave it a little nudge. He walks down the alley. He goes to the front. He sees the candles burning. He tells you he walks past her door. Her front door is it's like inset, whatever. He walks past her door. He goes farther. He can see through the living room. Oh, it's another sexcapade and my fucking kids are home. Again, I have to bail her out. Again, she embarrasses me. Now, where's Charlie? No, he's milling out front. He walks around front. He's kind of keeping an eye, right? He's probably a little confused, right? What's going on? Jesus, OJ's pretty pissed off right now. He's out front. That's why they have the Tom Lang statement that says he sees a guy 5'11", 175 pounds out front of Bundy. Well, where's Tom Lang? They never could find him again. He had the same name as the lead detective. That was kind of weird. Two Tom Langs. This is what OJ does. That's what the case does. It's like a mirror theory. Every single piece of evidence could go either way. I could prove to you his innocence and his guilt on the same piece of evidence. It's fascinating, and that's why those lawyers, and they had a trial that went 10 months long, because it just never ended. Okay, it's brilliant. It's beautiful. So he is now in there looking. Charlie's out front, keeping a kind of an eye, checking things out. This is going to go fast too now. It's going to go fast, okay? OJ's there. He's stalking Nicole. He's got the burglar cap on. He's got his knife. He's like in a tracksuit almost. Like he's already dressed for it in a way. The gloves are on. And Ron Goldman shows up. Ron Goldman parks his car in between the streets. He's on Dorothy. He like parks right in the middle. They could never figure out where he went in. Like, did he come in through the front? Did he come in through the back? They never could figure it out. And guess where he parks his car? Right in the middle. So you can't tell, right? He doesn't park in the front. That would make sense. Nope. He goes to the side street, parks right in the middle of the block. Now you can't tell, was he this way? So OJ tells you he comes through the back gate. He doesn't. He comes through the front. He has to buzz Nicole in. Charlie sees him. Doesn't attack him yet. Lets him come up, right? Watches him. Here he comes. Comes to the gate. OJ's inside. Charlie's out front, right? They got him trapped, okay? Nicole comes out. Let's Ron in. They both come in. They both walk in, right? As they come in, OJ collapses, so does Charlie. All ambush. It's like an ambush, okay? That's why Robert Hydra hears fighting and hey. It happens quickly. It's right away, okay? OJ says there's this dance and Ron got in this karate thing. And I said, you think there's no dialogue? This is going quickly. They're dead within minutes. 2-3 minutes, they're dead. No, Ron struggled for 20 minutes. There were all these things they missed a lot of times. They got him, bang. She sees Charlie. She's like, what the fuck? OJ comes up, they boom. That's why they're all converged on the front, okay? The door's open. It's still open. They actually find the door open. They hear the gate slam. Robert Hydra says, I heard a gate slam at 10:42 or whatever, okay? Yeah, they bump into the gate or they throw Ron in, try to slam it behind them or whatever. It doesn't matter, okay? The gate slams in the thing. It's open. When they find the bodies, it's open, okay? Now it's on, okay? Charlie's grabbing Ron, probably sticking the knife to his throat. Ron's got these cuts on his face. That's either OJ hitting him in the face or Charlie. I think Charlie's left-handed. There's some evidence about a left-handed strike. They talk about this. Charlie, I think, is left-handed. I've seen him do both. Okay. There's a picture of him clicking a left-handed pen. Okay. On Google Images. So it doesn't really matter, like I said. But OJ always said, Doc Johnson thinks the killer was left-handed because OJ's right-handed. Okay. So that benefits OJ to do that. So now they're in the melee. They're grabbing him. He's got the envelope. He drops it right there. That's why they find the envelope with the glasses. It's right there. It's like someone placed it there. Okay. She has a menu in her hand. The menu flings outside the gate because she's getting rocked, like punched. Okay. She gets clobbered in the head by OJ. They say it's the top of the knife hitting her. I think he whacks her and her head bounces off the stairwell. Okay, they find her, right? She gets killed on the stairs. She's dropped at the bottom, but the blood and all that, he's got her up on the stairwell when he cuts her. Okay, that's why the blood runs down the stairs. Okay, so the fight happens, bang, Ron, hey, Ron's getting attacked. She's getting attacked. Now OJ and Charlie turn their attention to Ron alone. She's kind of out. Okay, she's either knocked out. That's why they talk about this. Nicole fell and hurt herself. Okay, he's trying to say she started it by swinging it. Maybe she did. I'm sure she was pissed. There's 4 people. It's like my book talks about, and I'm going to read from it in a minute. There's 4 angry people about to converge on a small, dark space. Ron thinks he's maybe getting a piece of tail. Okay, he's probably coked up. Nicole's coked up. OJ, Charlie, they're coked up, right? The toxicology reports came back. Oh, we didn't find anything. And bullshit. Bullshit. Don't believe anything anyone says on this. Okay? Especially the LAPD forensics. You should see what Robert Shapiro does to Andrea Mazzola. Is there a manual? Yeah. Did you ever read the manual of how to do a crime scene? No. How long did you work there? A year. Wait, technically, weren't you a trainee? Yes. She's in charge of the crime scene. Dennis Fung, Andrea Mazzola. Those are household names. They annihilated them. They didn't stand a chance. And that was Peter Neufeld. If you look up, Peter Neufeld's the one who annihilated. Each lawyer had their own missile silo. They all had their moments. Barry Scheck destroyed Dennis Fung. They kept him on the stand for days. He processed a lot of the blood evidence. Peter Neufeld annihilated Andrea Mazzola. So the attack's going. They both jump on Ron now. That's why Ron's wounds are one guy's behind, one's in front, coming at him from the front, they think. He's got stab marks on his head, on his face, on the back of his neck. His ear is cut. It's on this side. Okay, he's got a huge gaping hole here, which if Charlie's lefty and he's behind him, he could easily hit him here and pull, right? He could stab him in the neck this way, right? If the front would be the right-handed coming at him, that could be OJ coming. See, until they come fully clean, right, we'll never know the exact angles and who has who, okay? But Ron's attacked by 2 people. And there's not a lot of dual knife evidence. There's not, because I've gone through the autopsy so many times and I've had to learn this stuff, and it took months. It took me a long time to do this. And there's only 2 knife wounds that show it's a double-edged knife. Okay, 2. On Nicole, there's really none. Even when Dr. Erwin Golden said there's 2 morphologically different. On Nicole, if you read her autopsy and you kind of know what to look for, to me, it looks like it's 1 knife. I don't really think Charlie touched Nicole. She scratches Charlie. I'm going to talk about it in my book. And there's tissue under her nails that doesn't match OJ. When they test it, it doesn't match Ron. There's other blood evidence there of Charlie too, of a man of Latin descent, like an Italian or Latin or Italian, right? And Charlie's part Italian. He's Jewish and Italian. So the genes can match up, right? Or is there a third person? Who's the lookout that Tommy Tollerino said, I saw a dark, slick back hair guy in the bushes outside of Nicole's 1 hour before the murders. That's not Charlie. Charlie's balding. Maybe that is a Colombian. Remember they said there was a Colombian drug hit, even on OJ's thing, and Larry King and Geraldo both asked Faye Resnick, was this a Colombian drug thing, Faye? No! She's an actress. She's an actor. It's why she's on TV. It's why she's on shows. They're all liars. They have to protect themselves, and they made their own money from it. So the attack's going on. Ron's getting annihilated by 2 people. That's why I had conversations with some people about this, and some army guys used to tell me, one person's not going to kill him. There's no way. I did bayonet practice, and your adrenaline's going. You're not going to. The door to Ron is 3 feet away. It's open. It's right there. He could run out the door. He can't. He's trapped. He's got 2 guys. He's got a former NFL football player on him and a professional mafia killer on him. Okay? He can't win. That's why it says in my book about him, he was dead. There was no way they were going to let him live. Okay? Ron stabbed over 20 times, 25 times. Okay? Pa, 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 pa. It's going fast. It's not a 20-minute struggle. No, it's done in minutes. They turn over to Charlie. Charlie starts to leave. His shoe print is on Ron's jeans. There's fingerprints on the envelope, like he grabbed the envelope to look if there was money in there. It's bent, creased. They talk about that with Dr. Henry Lee. Dr. Henry Lee testifies there's another set of shoe prints there on the jeans, on the cement. Doesn't match Bruno Magli. It didn't, because Charlie's shoe prints are there. And the prints out front, they don't have any prints because the blood ran all over them. There's no dry prints. There was like a fountain of blood running down the front. That's where Charlie was, coming from the front. Okay, there is evidence that he's there. A lot of those crime scenes, the pictures, people never saw those. I don't even want to go into the hat. Charlie left his hat in the Bronco. There's a hat on the floor of the Bronco that no one ever sees. There's only like 2 photos of it. They like took the hat out. It's his hat. I measured it. It's a 7 1/8. OJ, they called him bobblehead. As a kid, he had a huge head. He wears like an 8. There's no way in hell he fits in a 7 1/8. It's Charlie's hat, and there's blood on it. There's blood on it. You could see in the photo. When they turn the hat over, there's blood on it, like it probably fell off into blood. It's crazy. It's crazy how people didn't even like put some of the stuff together. So Ron's dead. Okay, now Charlie's starting to leave. He's going towards the middle gate. They say that's the gate that slammed. Pat McKenna, we did a test and did this test where, anyway, there's a middle gate. OJ finishes off Nicole. He's got her. She's like up on the stairs. He's like pulled her up, right? He's like standing on the stairs. Okay. That's why she's angled. Now, the other thing too is, one thing that I thought of was she's trying to run away. She's trying to go up the stairs and he just grabs her, right? Okay. And when he pulls her back, cuts her, the blood gushes down right in the middle steps, like the 3rd step up. You can see like a wall of blood. And I guarantee you from there, he threw her on her face. Okay. So he cuts her and just chucks her down the stairs. That's why she's at the bottom. And that's why the blood's all up on the stairs. It's not starting. Okay. And now her feet get wedged between the gate, which was another strange thing. She'd have to be laying down for her feet to go through the gate. The gate's only like 6 inches off the ground. The side gate, this iron fence. Because when he grabs her and pulls her, right? He pulls her, her legs slide under the fence and cuts her and throws her. She's half under the fence. The menu's outside. When the fight happens, she probably drops it. She doesn't throw it. She she drops it. The wind takes it out. It goes, the fence it's like iron. There's gaps. You never could figure it out. Why is the menu outside? Well, she came out. She's holding a menu. She doesn't know OJ's there. She's barefoot. She's in this tiny little dress. And OJ talks about that. And that sets him off even more. The candles set him off. The music. Someone's coming. The guy shows up. I mean, can this be any more perfect? Think about it. Ron shows up, he's got an envelope in his hand. Looks like he's delivering drugs in a way, probably to Charlie and OJ. And OJ says, oh, I heard half you guys, you're all dealing on the side. And he knows about Michael Nigg and he knows about Brett Cantor. OJ's the one who brought the Brett Cantor murder up in the trial. His team, they brought it up, not the prosecution. And they let it in, Brett Cantor. His murder over cocaine in LA 1 year before that. Okay, Joey Ippolito, the mob. Charlie's walking out. He's moving. OJ finishes it. She's dead. Now he's coming out. They say he walks back. They say the footprints come back, his Bruno Magli shoes, because now he's lost his gloves, probably both gloves. See, both gloves are there. And a lot of people, they say, no, Furman didn't plan it. Both gloves are actually at the crime scene. Furman grabs one of the gloves and he takes it with him because he's one of the only officers that's there before the detectives show up. They don't even show up for hours. He's got like 2 hours and he's got a long history with OJ and he knows Nicole and there's a piece of wood and there's all this stuff. I don't want to go into it. There's so many details to it. He plants the glove. He throws the glove over the fence. And then they say Cato saw it and Cato threw it behind the house. I don't know exactly this part, obviously, but that's what one of the sources said. Cato threw the glove behind the house. Furman threw it out in front of the house over the wall. And they found this little like evidence bag, but Furman says it was a blue tape bag in the back, and OJ was taping his finger. I guess he's taping his finger while he's running into the house. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Donald Freed says that's an evidence bag. Like Furman brought the glove in an evidence bag, and when he came there, he took it, he dropped it. There's no leaves on the glove. Like there's all this foliage everywhere, meaning the glove was just barely there. There's nothing on it. It's like perfectly just sitting there. Okay. It's not dirty. Why would OJ carry one glove with him? He's not even clothed. His clothes are in the Bronco with Charlie. He's wearing boxer shorts and socks. Why would he carry the glove with him to the house? Is it stuck to him? That's what I thought in the beginning. Maybe it was stuck to him. He hits the air conditioner. The glove falls off. Makes sense. He's coming through that little gap alley. So now, a couple last things, and then I'm going to read my book, and then this will conclude our little podcast. So as they are exiting now, they're coming out the back to the alley. A guy drives up. His name's Louis Karp. He drives up at the exact moments that they're getting away. Now, whether Louis Karp saw them and he lied and said, I didn't see anyone, he literally drove his car right past them and into a garage next door to Nicole. Okay. He says he didn't see him. They all almost cross paths. Okay. If his time's off by 5 minutes, yeah, maybe he doesn't see him. He says 10:50. Well, yeah, they're gone at like 10:48. Jill Shively sees them crashing through the intersection at 10:50, right? He's driving. That's the whole Jill Shively thing for another time. They start stripping down. OJ looks back and he talks about in his book, I saw the blood everywhere. I'm covered in blood. I got to get rid of all the clothes. Strips down, loses the shoes, loses the jacket, the pants, gone. Bundles it all up, takes the knife, sticks it in there, hands it to Charlie. In the script, and I guess I won't be able to read the script today from this, and next time we can rock and roll in there. He talks about in the script, there's two shadow figures that you see the shadows, and OJ hands this bindle, they call it, to Charlie, because that's really what happens. That's why they never find that stuff. Charlie gets rid of it. They both admit to that. Okay. The knife's in there, the Bruno Mali shoes, all the clothes, some of Charlie's clothes are in there. Charlie's covered in blood. Okay. They get in the Bronco. Okay. This is important. They get in the Bronco. There's blood everywhere on the console. Charlie's holding all the stuff in his lap. There's blood on the headrest. He's bloody. He's probably injured. Ron probably hit Charlie, right? OJ had no scratches. He looked clean as a whistle. That means Charlie's the one getting punched and kicked. Ron made contact. He had bruises on his knuckles, both hands, abrasions. He's fighting for his life, for sure. They get in the Bronco. They speed out of there. They come ripping out. Robert Heidstra sees them turn the wrong way. And this confused people. He turns the wrong way, probably because he couldn't go left right away. He had to whip down just to get out of there. He turns around and now comes racing back up Bundy, right to San Vicente. When he comes screeching across, lights off, shirtless, Charlie in the passenger seat, they just barely miss Jill Shively. Comes screeching through the intersection. She slams on her brakes. I met Jill Shively. I talked to her like 10 times. I go, did you see Charlie in the passenger side? I didn't see anybody there. Months later, and this is how it goes. I find these things months at a time. It takes time. The way OJ crosses her, she's behind him. She can't see. She sees him. He comes out and he screams at her. She says she sees his bare arms. I go, he wasn't wearing a jacket, right? She goes, no, he was bare armed. They always said he had clothes on. I know I saw his bare arms because he wasn't wearing a top. He's not wearing it. He's barely wearing any clothes. Charlie's holding him. And she screams at her, get the fuck out of the way. There's another kid, another car, a Nissan. They never could find this guy. I looked for him for months, could never find him. He came, he almost crashed to him. It's like a split. The road's like a boulevard, whatever. He goes across. She doesn't see Charlie. She knows it's OJ. I thought it was Marcus Allen, but then I realized it was OJ Simpson. Okay. Screech across, almost hits another guy. He's up now. Now he's racing up towards Rockingham. He's in there within minutes. Okay? That's why the prosecution could never get all the stuff to fit the timeline. And that's where they made the mistake. They started the murders too early, and they also gave too much credit, or sorry, not enough credit, to OJ to do this so quickly. He's OJ Simpson. Can he run quickly onto the property? Can OJ Simpson run quickly? Faster than anybody. And he does it all quickly. So they come back, they drive, the limo's there, Alan Park's there, okay? They know he's there. OJ tells you in the book and in the script. We drive past, we go around, we go on a back street. They come around, they drop OJ off. That's why Alan never sees the white Bronco. He testified to that 20 times. He made his own documentary about it. Charlie drops him off. OJ runs through the back of the house. Charlie's holding the Bronco on Bristol. The street is called Bristol. Then there's another street called Parkins. He's going to come up Parkins. Okay, and then he parks the Bronco. And that was always a big deal. Look how it was parked and it looked off kilter. And again, these are all the tidbits. Drops him off. He runs through the back. Comes around. Cato sees him. Cato lies about this. Cato sees him. That's why Alan Park says, I saw them both simultaneously. You couldn't have seen him simultaneously. Cato says he never saw OJ because he's a liar. He saw OJ. He knows he saw him. He was in the back with a flashlight. OJ runs into the house. Alan Park says he sees a 6-foot black man dressed in all black clothes. It's not black clothes. It's his skin. Okay? That's why. This is the Alan Park syndrome right here. And the reasons why he saw what he did and what he didn't. He sees them simultaneously together. OJ runs in. Cato comes towards him like this, or like simultaneously. Comes to the gate, lets him in. Cato's like, what's going on? Of course, right? Comes in, limo comes in. Keeps buzzing him. Finally, I was asleep. OJ comes down, drops a bag. Starts to pretend he's already showered. They find blood in the drain. There's some blood in the sink. Even though they say they ripped the pipes out, there was no blood. There was blood in the drains. They didn't find it in the pipes. Okay? There was blood inside. There was a lot of evidence that was overlooked and not put in. That's what Furman talks about. A lot of his book is really about all the evidence they did not use. Okay? And he had access to that. Most people, they don't have the access to the evidence. He did. So OJ's now doing that, but the getaway is not complete yet. And now I'm going to read the end of my book, part of it. And I thank you for being here. It's an important story, and people need to know the truth for many different reasons. OJ's dropped off. He gets in the limo. They don't see the bandage. There's a couple droplets of blood, not much. OJ did a good job covering that up. He drives away. And when he drives away, Charlie waits a little bit, and Charlie brings the Bronco around, and he parks it, not OJ Simpson. Charlie leaves the key in the mailbox like he tells him to, and he takes off with all the evidence, and he never comes back to LA ever again in his life. If you look at Charlie's dossier, he never leaves Miami again, ever. All the years, I have all his information. He never leaves again. He never goes back to LA. All his residence, his rental homes, his beach house, it's all in Miami, okay, over decades, okay? And I wouldn't go back there either, right? So he parks that, and the rest is history, and he gets away. And Cato knows, and Cato sees him. And I have a guy who came forward that Cato told this to. He knew a lot about what happened, and he should have come forward. He should have said that. That proves that someone was with OJ. That proves that someone was there, driving the Bronco, okay? That's enough evidence. Well, he didn't murder anyone. Maybe he was just there. I had these other guys I used to work with and talk to, and they would always say to me like, well, maybe Charlie didn't kill anybody. He just was there? It doesn't matter. It's still double murder 1. He didn't talk about it. He didn't report it. The evidence is there that there's 2 knives, that he was active at the crime scene. He's right there. OJ tells you he's right there. I push Charlie out of the way and I grab the knife first. And I'd say, Ron Goldman, you think you could kick my ass? So it's a crazy story. It's probably the craziest murder case of all time. Behind JFK, it's number 2. Okay? JFK, president, assassination, broad daylight, sure, that had some repercussions for sure. OJ as a civilian case, it's the greatest true crime story of all time. Just to kind of give you guys a little taste of my book and what I do at the end. I wish I could keep going more, but this is what we're going to do for the initial release of this information. So I'm just going to read part of the ending in the last chapter. The last chapter is called The End, period. Because I feel I put the thing to bed once and for all. New stuff can happen from there. Of course it can. There's 1,000 stories in there. I didn't even get to talk about all the people I wanted to. Faye, A.C. Cowlings, Bob Kardashian, Bill Waz. We only kill our friends. What does that mean? Mafia. We only kill our friends. Your best friend walks you in a room and you don't come out. He knew Bob Kardashian. Kardashian offered him to kill Nicole. There's crazy stories inside here. Anyway, so let me just read the ending and then we're going to be on our way. I'm going to read the beginning of it and I may skip just to maybe the ending part of it. It's Sunday night, June 12th, 1994. A terribly quiet evening. O.J. Simpson chips golf balls into his neighbor's yard. A limousine is on the way. He's wearing a black tracksuit with Bruno Magli shoes. He calls Paula Barbieri one last time, hoping to reconcile. It's 10:03 p.m. Cato Kalin is in his guest house. Arnell Simpson is at a movie. O.J. Simpson spots a car slowing by his gate. He doesn't at first recognize the car nor the man exiting it. O.J.'s nerves calm as he realizes it's Charlie. They met 3 months ago through Joey, and they hit it off. But Joey wants his fucking money. So he sent Charlie. But O.J. doesn't want to pay up. It's easier to blame it on Nicole and Faye. 2 alpha males, one by design, one of the mind. Each formidable in their own ways. The Black Hand taught its members the way of the stiletto. I'm going to just jump to the end. And hopefully we can resume this someday and talk more. And I hope you guys can become active in it. And like I said, we all have to do it together. Take you through the murders. Charlie has left the white Bronco. He scopes out front, then hides in the shadows. Ron Goldman drives up and parks his borrowed car. He will be dead within 4 minutes. Say his name. So will Nicole Brown Simpson say her name. It's 10:35 p.m. 4 angry people are about to converge on a small, dark space. Excuse me. OJ's heart is racing, as is Charlie's. They're both on cocaine. Ron and Nicole could be high. Absolutely horrible. OJ has dreamed of killing Nicole. She crossed the line with the kids. If something goes awry tonight, so be it. She had it coming. So did Faye. OJ will kill Charlie, if he has to. It would be self-defense or a hero's mission. Nicole is barefoot and wearing a skimpy black dress, just the way OJ likes her. This makes him even angrier. Charlie spots Ron Goldman approaching the front gate. Ron buzzes Nicole, and she comes out to greet him. OJ makes himself known now and blocks Nicole and Ron from exiting the courtyard. Charlie ushers Ron Goldman through the front gate. OJ and Nicole immediately begin arguing. Problem is, Charlie and OJ aren't playing. Neither is Joey. OJ and Charlie's knives shine in the moonlight. They'll murder anything that moves right now. OJ will take Nicole. Charlie will take Ron. The victims don't notice the steel. Nicole snaps and swings on OJ. And that's all that was needed. A spark. OJ drills Nicole in the head with the butt of his Bowie knife. And that's the knife that, it's not a Bowie knife, it's a smaller Swiss Army knife, the Victorinox like I said, as I learned, even just after writing the book. The butt of his knife, Charlie pushes Ron deeper into the courtyard, then slams the front gate. Nicole goes down at the base of the stairs, but will get back up and fight. Charlie stabs Ron quickly and viciously. Ron lands punches and kicks. OJ jumps in, striking Ron in the chest, head, and face. Ron's throat explodes just before Charlie's knife strikes OJ in the left middle finger. Nicole gets up and scratches Charlie. His blood rests beneath her fingernails forever. OJ turns to annihilate Nicole. Charlie swings on her too. Ron is trying to get up. OJ and Charlie pounce again. More strikes to the stomach and ribs. One vicious cut through the femoral artery. Ron is bleeding. Charlie is bleeding. OJ is bleeding. Nicole is bleeding. Charlie darts up the stairway and gestures for OJ to follow, but OJ won't leave. He grabs Nicole by the hair and jams her legs beneath the iron fence. His knee smears blood across Nicole's leg. OJ cuts Nicole ear to ear like any good SEAL would. He then tosses her face down onto the cement. OJ casually strolls back toward the gate. He finds Charlie there huffing and puffing. Charlie leaves 7 fingerprints on that back gate. OJ can't find one of his gloves nor the burglar's wool cap. He walks back to the crime scene, but it's too dark and they got a boogie. Charlie starts stripping off his clothes, as does OJ. Some loose change falls from their pants. They combine all the clothes and OJ's shoes and the knives into a bundle. It's 10:45 p.m. Alan Park is stalking Rockingham. He drives back and forth between the gates. OJ and Charlie know this. They divert onto Ashford, then Bristol. OJ makes Charlie promise to rid all the evidence and to park the white Bronco. OJ has a flight to catch. And just like in his Hertz commercials, go OJ go. It's 10:55 p.m. Cato hears a thump by his air conditioning unit. That's OJ crashing into it. Cato grabs a flashlight and searches behind Rockingham. He finds a practically naked OJ Simpson. But Cato pretends like he doesn't find him forever. Alan Park sees Cato and OJ simultaneously. He pulls the limousine into Rockingham. OJ rushes upstairs and anxiously showers. The getaway is almost complete. It's 11:15 p.m. OJ personally loads one piece of luggage that holds his boxer shorts inside of a plastic bag. He forgot to load the black socks. Those will sit on his bedroom floor waiting. No one sees OJ bleeding. He doesn't wear a bandage on his middle finger. His blood will be found in the driveway. And just inside the front door, the left-right pattern by the Rockingham gate will be from when OJ looks around for the white Bronco. Cato waves to OJ as the limousine pulls out. Alan Park does not see the white Bronco, ever. Charlie holds it on Bristol. Cato hangs outside for a moment, still worried about a potential intruder. Charlie pulls up in the white Bronco, and Cato spots him. Charlie tells Cato that something bad has happened. Charlie takes the bundle of bloody evidence to his car. He drops the right-handed glove in the street on accident. The getaway is almost complete. It's 11:20 p.m., June 12, 1994. At approximately 5:15 a.m. on Monday, June 13th, LAPD detectives descended upon the Rockingham mansion. Once a glorious Brentwood estate filled with love, children, and memories would now become one of the most notorious crime scenes in American history. There were people that knew. There was evidence. There was cover-up. It's not about blaming this person or that. It's about doing the right thing, even if it takes 25 years to do it. Thank you for being with me today. I look forward to talking to you again.